Amber Rose Rush's sister sounded warnings about her friendship with the doctor accused of her murder in the months before she died. The trial of former doctor Venod Skantha, who is accused of murdering the 16-year-old, today entered its second day in the High Court at Dunedin. Our Otago-Southland reporter Timothy Brown has been in court.
The second day of the trial began with evidence from Amber Rose Rush's older brother, Jaden. The Crown claims Venod Skantha stabbed the teenager to silence her after she told the 32-year-old she was going to the police and his employer, Southern DHB, with allegations of him touching up minors, supplying them with alcohol and offering money for sex. Jaden Rush says when he arrived home soon after midnight on February the 3rd last year, he found a spare key still in the front door. In an exchange with defence lawyer Jonathan Eaton QC, he detailed how he raised another peculiarity with his girlfriend when they got home that night.
When you got home, you noticed that the kitchen light was on. It was something that you particularly noticed when you got home and you discussed with Alicia?
Yeah.
And that was because your mum was, I think you in your police statement said she was a bit OCD about lights.
Yes.
The lights would always be switched off when she went to bed?
Yes.
Mr. Rush knocked on his sister's bedroom door to mockingly tell her off for leaving the key in the door, but received no response. Outside the home, Amber Rose Rush's boyfriend, Kristen Clark, watched Jaden and his girlfriend enter the home. Mr. Clark had earlier been messaging Miss Rush on Snapchat.
She was messaging me right up to the point where she stopped replying, and she was having a conversation with Venod, and she seemed frustrated with him and was acting as if she was going to go around his place to sort of deal with the situation.
Kristen Clark advised his girlfriend not to confront Mr. Skantha.
When she stopped replying, I drove around to her address to see whether or not her car was still there, because I was obviously worried that she had left to try and see Venod. I went to her window and knocked on the window, and when she wasn't coming I sort of knocked harder, but she still didn't come.
When he saw Jaden Rush go into the house, he left. Miss Rush was discovered dead in her bed by her mother on the morning of February the 3rd. She had suffered stab wounds to her neck and throat, and there had been an attempt to slash her throat. The Crown says Mr. Skantha entered the home shortly before midnight and killed Miss Rush, taking her cell phone to dispose of the incriminating conversations between the two. Detective Constable Jesse Thompson says police were unable to find the cell phone during a search of the property.
I placed a phone call through to the OC case, Detective Senior Sergeant Robert Hanna. I advised him that we had not been able to locate either a weapon used or the deceased's cell phone at this time. I asked him to consider ringing the deceased's cell phone so we could locate it within the address if it was present. A short time later, he advised me that the phone had gone straight to answer phone.
The court heard how Amber Rose had planned to move into Mr. Skantha's home with her best friend. During the cross-examination of her sister, Chantel Rush, Mr. Eaton covered a message exchange in December 2017 between the sisters detailing Chantel's discomfort at the plan.
You asked how old he is, and she told you he was 30, is that right?
Yes.
She told you he was lonely and he was like a dad to us. She told you he only hangs out with teens, and you said sugar daddy?
Yes.
She told you that he even said she could live rent-free just for cooking and cleaning?
Yes.
But obviously it still wasn't persuading you, because you said WTF, so that's creepy as, ha ha ha.
Yes.
And then you said it was sexual grooming?
Yes.
The teenager dismissed her sister's concerns. The Crown claimed the friendship between Miss Rush and Mr. Skantha soured after he offered her up to $20,000 for sex. The defence says it accepts Miss Rush was stabbed to death by an intruder, but claims that intruder was not Venod Skantha. The trial, held before Justice Gerald Nation, is expected to last about a month. In Dunedin, for Checkpoint, Timothy Brown.